Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk, episode 94. Hello, Nigel. Hello, Teddy. Sweet one.
Yo,
how are all of you doing? Nigel and I are finally on the same time zone. I feel like I'm on the same wavelength as you. It's 3 o'clock.
this will look really good in the picture, Ian. Like, you have an good lighting, high-res camera, and I guess you have a great internet connection.
It must be the internet
The
connection.
difference between you and me is the lighting.
The lighting is just here. Let me help you, Ted. There. Now you're well lit.
That actually helped a little. I like Danny. Danny's going strong with the backlight.
I gotta put the shards down, bud.
Well, today's been pretty interesting. I just came back from the Kennedy Center.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine was speaking at the Kennedy Center at a CPAC event, which was interesting. I've never been to one of those. Kennedy Center is beautiful. Jeez, I can't believe how crazy nice it is. And then right next to us, another friend is running a big AI blockchain event for government stuff. It's the Government Blockchain Association. So that's also been great. Just great to see a bunch of friends that are influencing the industry, which certainly ties into our conversation about leadership today. Teddy, what's happening? What's going on in your world? How'd you do?
I practiced with an ABA team. So that's the ABA, famous back in the day with Dr. J.
Yep. That's when they had the red, white, and blue basketballs.
They still have the red, white, and blue basketballs.
Yeah, they were
and they do feel a bit different. They're much more. I mean, I think they're made of the same stuff, but they definitely feel more rubbery. Yeah, so they build themselves as the largest professional league. They have teams. They're global. They have like 160, 180 teams in the U.S. But then half of them would be, it's a semi-pro league. So like the team I'm playing with is pretty good.
Did you join a team, or you're just playing pickup game?
I'm currently practicing with them. I was killing them last night though, but they're all short and we're being lazy. It's like, come on, guys. I even started talking trash and it didn't work.
They're gonna love hearing you say that because they all follow your socials. You already shared this thing, so now they know that you think that they're all short and lazy. Did you also throw in fat?
Well, the guys covering me were, they were shorter than me, but younger, both athletic.
Most are shorter than you.
They were lazy. I was killing them.
Well, it's nice to see that you look at yourself so positively and others so critically. It's nice.
How about
it's just kind of fact. I'm not always the tallest guy in basketball. If I were against Wembanyama, I'd look tiny, man, and he'd have a huge advantage. And I don't know what the heck I would do because that guy swats everything.
Can I?
I mean, you can be a lot shorter than that and swat my shot.
I want to just infer on a beautiful Donald Trump quote that I actually have recorded on my phone. And I quote, "It's wonderful to say bad things about people." And I have that on my. It's beautiful.
Is that a real Donald Trump quote?
He did say
hilarious.
that.
Remember that?
When did he say that? We were watching that together live.
Said
was that the
when
State of the Union?
He was sitting down with Zelensky
that
in the
was
room,
it.
and
Zelensky started saying bad things about Putin, and Trump goes, It is wonderful.
Yeah, it's good to say bad things about people. And I recorded it. I remember I backed up and I said, forever. I have to agree with Trump. It's wonderful to say bad things about people.
So Ted,
and happy Thursday.
If you need more wonderful in your life, I mean, that's what people show up for, bro. They're all here to hear you enjoy the wonderfulness.
Yes.
Oh man.
So I would expect. What I'm hearing is that somewhere in 2026, I'm going to be able to get discount tickets for the SC Warriors, huh?
Come on, Teddy.
Man.
I have to get for me to do that, I have to be as good in my 50s as I was in my 20s. No. For me to try out, and I have to be as good in my 50s as I was in my 20s to actually make the team. I'd have to be better. I don't know. I probably could have made it. I don't know if I could have made it.
You could be an excellent promotional status for them. They may just hire you to come in and play once in a while and then just be that guy, the 55-year-old.
Yeah. I've got such a huge following. Like the 5 guys watching this right now.
That's all you need, man.
Like, are all going to be there.
We are all.
Those are influencers. The 5 of you watching us are important. You're influencers. That's amazing. Yep, that's the deal. Santa Cruz Warriors. Oh man, Santa Cruz Warriors. Look at the you want me. You need me. I am the man.
Yes, you are.
To a whole
yes,
nother level.
you do believe that, Teddy. Of that, there is no doubt.
And that's why you're going to kick off the what are we, leadership today?
Yeah, today's leadership.
Ted, you
lead
just
by example. So the real purpose behind this, we're having fun, and I'm joking, and Dan's eating in between fireworks, is that I'm trying to give my best
celebration
to our incarcerated brothers, because God told me, and I'm wanting to elevate Ear Hustle, the award-winning podcast produced by incarcerated brothers from inside San Quentin. They're amazing people, and I think we as a society can do a lot better than we're currently doing with our criminal justice system. We have an 83, last stat I saw, 83% rate of recidivism of guys who are in, who get out, go back in, and it's $131,000 to incarcerate an individual for 1 year. I believe that's the stat I saw for nationwide.
What did you say
That's
it was?
A lot of money.
$31,000.
What's the number?
$131,000. I believe that's the stat.
Wow. How?
In the 90s, when I was when I knew about the numbers, it was 68, 92.
Surprising. It was so
$68,000 a year it costs to house an inmate. That's what they got. So the jails get paid that. And that's why, if you remember this thing I briefly spoke about, they have 5 programs, and then the gentleman who sits in the cell. So in 1 year, the person who goes into the cell, they let them, unless they're a violent person or something that they have to send them to jail, they will let them out on a program, PSP, public service program, work furlough, trustee status, or there's 2 others that I forgot. There's 6 people that they get paid for 1 cell. Because 1 cell, the guy goes in, and then they're able to go out on 5 programs. So there's instead of the person being in 1 cell, they get them out on a program as soon as possible that empties the cell to come back in, to go through the judicial system, to be determined that you're not a hazard to society, couple too many tickets, whatever the case may be. So let's bring him back out, let him clean up the highway so he doesn't have to be in jail. They still get paid for that individual because he's still technically incarcerated. So every jail cell that we have, that there's Ted saying it's $131,000 for each cell, it's times 6 because there's 5 people out on a program still incarcerated getting that 131. It's incredible.
We incarcerate more people than any other nation in the world. Our per capita rate of incarceration is greater than Russia and China combined. That's the per capita. The other stat that really shocked me, now take a guess at this. How many people who are incarcerated in the criminal justice system, what percentage? Who am I talking to now? Myself?
Yeah, you're talking to yourself, Teddy.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just watching.
No. Go screen. I'm talking to our audience. Go full screen. Okay.
Okay, Ted, there you are, bro. Now they're all paying attention.
The light's better now too. What portion of people incarcerated in the system do you have that their cases went to trial? What do you think the percentage is?
15.
Let's get some guesses out there.
I'm throwing 15% out.
Nigel, what do you think? Above or below?
Below.
Above.
How much below? But Dan's going for above.
I don't even
How
know what
much
the question
below,
was.
Nigel?
I just want to throw in the other thing.
Half.
There you go.
So
You got all
Nigel is saying
someone's right.
5%. No, Nigel is saying 7.5%.
Yeah.
I'm going to go below Nigel. I'm going to go with 3%. 3% have gone to trial, and that's probably being generous. What I just saw in California, that it's closer to 1 point something percent. So they, you know, they're all, you know, a small portion, like 4%, are thrown out. But the vast majority are convicted and sent in on plea deals. So it's like, we say you did it. Do you want 100 years? Or if you make this plea deal, we'll give you 5 years or whatever. They never get their day in court. And, you know, you're under a lot of pressure when you're a young man. And even if you don't think you did it, even if you didn't do it, of course, we all know that, you know, prison, what's the statement? Prison's filled with people who are all innocent. But
not fluffy.
You know, prison is a very diverse population. It's diverse. Well, it's filled with minorities, black and brown primarily. It's obvious if you go there, you know, like we'll throw 100 years at you, scare you, but you just sign this and it's 5 years, and oh man, so. Anyways, I believe we can do better, and it's really not about pointing the finger. It's about solving the problem. I believe we can, you know, rehabilitate people, and we're seeing it happen. And I believe if we all work together, we can create a world without prison recidivism and without a need for mass incarceration. That's my quest. That's my experience. I'm seeing it. I'm meeting some of the most amazing people inside prison. The proof's in the pudding. The guys who are part of our basketball program, when they get out, you know, over 100 have gotten out over the years, and we can count on one hand the guys who aren't doing well, and even less than that of anyone who's ever gone back. So there's at very least a correlation between being in the basketball program and successfully reentering. I believe it's causal. And I believe there's other programs like this, and we just need to do a much better job of helping these people rather than just writing them off. They're human beings. So that is why I'm on this crazy quest to be as good at basketball in my 50s as I was in my 20s, to earn a tryout with the Santa Cruz Warriors, so that when I get my 15 minutes of fame, I'm going to say I'm giving my best for our incarcerated brothers, and I believe if all of us give our best, we can create a world without recidivism.
Awesome.
Of course.
I'm going to go down to the Santa Cruz Beach
Please,
boardwalk probably next week, and I'm going to sign up for the miniature golf little league team at King's Neptune. I'm gonna join that one.
Look, you see, I'm already inspiring others, baby.
Dude,
It works.
That's a good goal.
Danny was so good at mini golf when he was in his 20s. He crushed it. He definitely could have gone pro in Europe. Dude, you would have been pro in Europe.
I almost went pro mini golf. The best.
Hey, we have the Olympics for less. We have the Olympics for less. Like everybody gets a trophy now. That's how it. That's how it goes. So
yeah,
we'll do that.
What
we need is a new Olympic sport. In metrics. Measure something worth measuring.
Well, the one thing that needs to be in the Olympics is disc golf, obviously.
Knew that
baseball is coming back to the Olympics. Breakdancing is being removed from the Olympics.
They're taking it out.
makes sense.
Yeah, it was an embarrassment.
What are they going to let Snoop do then if he doesn't do the breakdance? Because he's coming back. He got too many views when he
on
was
everything.
He had the whole LA beach scene locked down on the Olympics for the breakdance. That was his thing. They gave it to Snoop. You do the breakdance, everything on the beach at that thing during that Olympics. He was like part of that scene.
Well, maybe they'll figure it out.
Was was that breakdance legend lady from Australia? Was that it, or from?
Yeah,
she's from Australia.
It's good to see that breakdance is so, like such an international sport. Australia was just dominating.
Getting close.
Go ahead, Nigel. You got something to say, bro. I can see it all over you.
Here's a sport for the Olympics: common sense.
There you go.
Really?
Put that in there. Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. There's no age. There's no age. You can't age out.
And you there'll be a gold medalist. I would love to see who is the gold medalist common sense in America, in the world.
Well, I could see a lot of people applying and they don't even make it to, they're like, get off the line. Just nope. Mm-mm.
This reminds me of the Monty Python skit of the marathon for people with exceptionally small bladders. As soon as they blow the horn, they run off into the bushes. Oh boy, yeah. If you guys seen that skit, you got to look at it.
I think I'm going to ask AI right now.
Well, the idea.
Yeah. You should ask AI. What are the 10 questions you'd ask to figure out if somebody is the grand champion of common sense? I wonder what those questions are.
I want to know what the events would be.
Yeah.
What would be the events?
But it's a good point to be made.
You're going to have to get out of an alligator pit in an X amount of time. You're going to have to avoid.
So the prize for coming in last is death.
or just
So
slight injury.
Maiming.
That's
that would make it more interesting.
Hence common sense, man. You'd have everyone, only the ding dong would go in there for the gold medal. Common sense would say, nah, not signing up for the alligator pit. You lose. He lost.
But that's a good point to be made, that common sense actually does have a lot to do with leadership. In a way, the thing that we have as our basis for common sense, kind of our worldview, is based off of what leaders tell us. I mean, that's just the way it kind of works throughout humanity.
I've been thinking about the leadership thing and how do leaders, the leadership segment, I usually like to talk about like elected leaders that are chosen by people, because it's different than just leaders that own a business or something of that nature. We already have a faith segment, we have a business segment. So when I think about leadership's impact on advanced technology, it does feel like it's been stronger this year than any other time. For instance, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve just dropped interest rates in America another 0.25%. That is a leadership decision that radically impacts the economy, businesses, borrowing money, all sorts of things are impacted by the interest rate dropping. Another example would be when Gary Gensler was removed from the authority over the SEC. He made a bunch of leadership decisions that negatively impacted things. When David Sachs came in as the AI crypto czar and his team of people, they've made decisions that have made big impacts positively on both Web3 and AI. Another one is just like Trump. People don't realize, but Trump is one of the most successful NFT creators in history. He's right up there with the Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunks. He sold those 40,000 silly cards on the Polygon network. I'm pretty sure Trump has done more revenue than anybody ever on Polygon. He sold 40,000 cards, like $50 each. And then those 40,000 cards have been resold over and over and over and over and over and over again. He gets 10% every time. Now the price is driven up higher. In addition to that, he's the most successful individual that's ever launched a meme coin.
Sorry.
Sorry. No. But think about this. Think about this for a second. I'm gonna get to a strong point. Only Doge and Sheep have had higher market caps than the Trump coin on Solana.
What about that Magna or wasn't there one started with an M that did? That's still. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So these are two. Okay, Trump and his family got debanked, so they started World Liberty Financial. So when I talk about leaders impacting things, especially elected leaders, and you look at someone like a Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve, which is not exactly elected. You look at someone like Gary Gensler, but our elected officials basically empower these folks, or someone like Trump. People don't often see Trump's impact on Web3 and AI, not as a personality alone, but also from policy. When it comes to AI, he brought together Homeboy from SoftBank and Larry from Oracle and Sam from OpenAI to all commit $500 billion, wasn't it? $500 billion, something stupid like that. I mean, he got them to commit $500 billion into doing data centers for AI. He has supported a lot of things. And so when you think about leaders' impact, if you just reverse and go back a year and a half, everything with Web3 crypto blockchain in America was a headwind against the industry. Now it feels like most things have a tailwind pushing momentum ahead. And this is why it's an important conversation, because it's not just that AI, Web3 impacts leadership, political officials, governments, but the governments and the political officials make a big impact. I mean, there's been times where people in China can't own crypto, can't own NFTs. In fact, even today, maybe they can't own NFTs if they can resell them. I think that was the deal. You could buy an NFT if you can't resell it or something like that. And so all these decisions are made by leaders who either are trying to protect the people, or they're trying to protect the interests of people that fund them and being in charge. And they may spin things in a way that's like, oh, this is good for the people. But, the reality is these very powerful people do have a lot of influence, so it's a compelling conversation. It definitely is interesting to think about how significant leaders, especially individual specific leaders, impact is. If you think about documentaries, there's another one like where things come out through a documentary about what a leader does or did or is going to do. It's just, and then their whole perception changes. Yeah. It is pretty wild. So anyway, that's how I want to kick off the conversation for today.
Well, if you look through history, the things that affect the way people feel, the way people live, the types of lives we engage with, it's usually decisions that were made by some leader that they end up affecting us the most. And when you look at something in retrospect, you can usually see, oh, well, that was what it was, or that was what it was. But when you're in the present moment, it's so hard to find, well, that decision or this leader is best, or we should do this, because there's all these different things going on. You could say that, yes, with the new Trump administration, now we have this good tailwind that is really helping with a lot of things for Web3 and both AI. But then at the same time, you could say, yeah, but there's all these other factors that are now putting a headwind that we didn't have. And so it's just really hard throughout history to find out what path we're supposed to go down. And do you guys think that in a way, something like AI is going to kind of be that, like, do you think it's going to be able to see the patterns that we were never able to see? And do you think that that's going to fundamentally change the way that we perceive things? Like decisions are already made for us by leaders? Or do you think it's still going to stay where humanity is just confusing and it's always going to be like that?
I think a lot of what happens and doesn't happen is predicated on what we know. One of the fastest past a 180-degree turn for anything and anyone is understanding something in a way you didn't. Like there's just things that we wouldn't do. Anybody like wouldn't do. You know, it might be different for each person, but they're like, I wouldn't do that if I understood what it was, you know. But if we never look, how would we ever know? And to answer the question on if AI will do that, if we look, if we're anyone who's inquisitive, curious, picks up a book or has previously picked up a book, will probably do quite well with AI and being able to discern what's going on in the world. And the benefit versus just, you know, picking up a book is the interactive component. Because whereas you can read something in a book, it's static, it's one way. Whereas with AI, you ask a question and it'll ask you something else. It always seems to be open-ended. It's never just, well, there you go away. Unlike, you know, Web2, that's one factor. And you think about something like how the Terminator, when Joe Morton, was that his name? Joe, like he was the scientist that found the arm, you know, for Terminator. And he said, we found this arm and it made us look in directions we wouldn't have looked.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, is what AI represents to people who are curious. Now, folks who never look anything up, they're not trying to learn.
Yeah.
AI is not going to do too much for them. This is going to amplify more the same things they've been doing. But when you see something that interests you, and the likelihood of you seeing something that interests you if you're using AI is probably pretty high. It may take a while, but you'll get there. But then you'll just keep going. And it'll just be this thing that kind of, you know, builds. And once you start asking questions, getting answers, it seems natural to me that you're going to start to draw different conclusions. And just
it's not always linear, though.
What's that?
Sometimes it's still not always linear, though. Sometimes you're like, oh, new project, yay, start at 75% already. Dang, AI is so cool. And then all of a sudden you realize they just went down because you told them to fix one thing and it just messed up another thing. And then you're sitting there stuck with AI because it's taking forever to get anything done. And so
I had that exact problem yesterday.
Yeah,
it kept break. I fixed one thing, break another. It was the exact thing that happened, and it kept. But you know that happens. I realized that happens because I don't know. It was coding. I'm not a coder, so of course that's going to happen. If I was a coder, it probably wouldn't. You know, it's like, think about this. If I went to Danny, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna build this house. And he gave me a step, and I decided I was going to wake up extra smart and not wait for him. And I go hammering away or doing something, and he comes back and he goes, what the hell did you do that for? I was like, well, I just figured. Like, stop figuring. Don't figure. So now you go back. You get more instructions, and then you because if you don't know, you're liable to do something that's consistent with not knowing. If you do, you'll do a little better. So it may seem like it is that it's breaking something that was working before, but one part of it is we're not being specific enough, and two, we don't know enough. Because if we did, we wouldn't go down that road. We would build it accordingly. But either way, learning is learning. You know, I'm definitely learning more and understand more than I would have if I did nothing. No question about it. And eventually it'll start making sense. You know, I have every confidence that that's the case. But I think doing is really the win. If you look, you're probably going to find something, you know? So
I agree with you. Motion creates the emotion when we don't feel like doing something. It's almost a guaranteed thing. Like, you may not want to go to church. You want to get up early on a Sunday or whatever it is. I don't really want to go to church. I'd rather sleep in. I don't really want this. Then you show up to church, and every church is different. You know, obviously Catholics, Orthodox are more prone toward like they can't wait to get to the mealtime, eating Jesus' body, drinking his blood. You know, Pentecostals just want to jump up and down and sing some songs. You know, the Calvary guys just want to hear the Bible. I mean, they're there for their moment. you show up,
You know how many
and then finally,
charismatics
hold on,
it takes
hold
to
on,
change the light
and then
bulb?
hold on, Ted, and then finally you show up, and then you get into the emotion of it because now you're in. The gym is the same way. You know, it's like, I don't really want to go get up in the morning workout. I don't want to go this afternoon. I'm tired. I already worked all day or whatever. But then you show up, and then the motion of being there gets you into the emotion of enjoying it. And this goes along for most things. Go ahead, Ted. Now you can say most likely whatever hilarious joke you had in the
No, it's
hopper.
not that funny. It's not that funny. How many charismatics does it take to change a light bulb?
Just you, Ted. You're tall enough you can reach.
It's
You don't even
true,
need a
just
ladder.
one, because their hands are up there already, anyways.
That's such a TED joke.
You know how many Baptists it takes to change a light bulb? Change? Get it? 'Cause the Baptists don't change. Come on, you guys aren't into light bulb jokes. Never mind. It's really funny if you hear the whole series, but I'm not going to do that.
Don't wait. Just
So,
finish.
Ian, what you're describing,
Go ahead, Teddy.
do you know how many Jews it takes to change a light bulb?
Oh, geez. Okay, this is the last light bulb joke. Malachi, tell Ted the answer. He wants to know. He wants a young
No
mind.
idea.
How many what? What's the last one? How many
How
what?
many Jews it takes to change a light bulb?
Oh, Jews.
If God had given us the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai and had never changed the light bulb, it would be enough.
Okay, do gays next and then blacks. Keep going, Ted. This is great.
How many? Okay.
Bro, you took that as a dark way. Man.
You're
Bro.
funny, Teddy. Charismatics, Baptists, Jews. Let's stop. Let's stop with the light bulb.
We better figure something out because the light bulb ain't gonna matter because we ain't gonna have money for electricity.
Ian brought up you brought up a very good point. You know, like things that don't feel good about doing them initially, but after we do them, we feel very good. I think one of the biggest problems facing humanity is basically our abundance. I mean, we're all struggling with dopamine addiction because that's a major trend. And basically nearly all addiction is basically dopamine addiction. That's the underlying thing. So whatever your substance it is, what it's doing to your body is the dopamine. Okay. So whether it's heroin or whether it's screens, in shorts, it's the underlying mechanism is dopamine. Okay. Because we were designed and evolved, if you want to use that paradigm, in a world where dopamine was rare, and so we sought after it. You know, like we needed to have that, and we sought after it. We're all struggling we're by and large, you know, trends globally is we're, especially in the West, we're overweight because we were designed in an environment where calories were scarce. So we wanted to go after and get them. Now we're in an environment where calories are abundant and we overdose. Now we're in an environment where dopamine is abundant, so we overdose. And it's like we were designed to we're like the whole way the dopamine system works, the healthy way is like you get a huge dopamine rush from working out, or you get it from the cold plunge, but it's a fundamentally different way of doing it, because rather than loading the dopamine, you're actually stressing your body. And then, so it's the opposite. And our body always wants to go to equilibrium. So if you load it with dopamine at the beginning, your body's going to lean back and put you down and down and down. And then you're going to build a dopamine, resistance because your body always wants to get equilibrium. But if we go the opposite way and we stress our body, so we're loading up we're pushing down the stress side, our body then releases the dopamine to balance us out. And that's how we become stronger and more resilient. So like there's this underlying theme that we we're designed to adapt to stress, and we're not stressing ourselves enough. Now, of course, the flip side is chronic stress that is too much, that destroys us. But it's like, this is like the core thing. And so like we need to go to the gym and work out because we are designed to be athletic, moving creatures who are moving all the time. That's what we were designed for. Now we have this. Now we figured out a way that we don't have to go hunting and chasing after animals because we breed them and we've outsourced that to someone else and they feed us. We can just sit on our butts all day. And it's like our abundance is what's killing us across the board. So,
well, you have these two conflicting motions, to quote Dad, where you could say is the example of you don't want to go to the gym, but you go to the gym, and it's this environment or this motion that causes the good emotion that you're looking for. It causes you to do what you want. And that's, you could say, a net good because you put yourself in the good environment. But then we also are in this environment where now we have screens that have messed with our physiology. And now we have dopamine addictions where now we're in this kind of bad motion, this, in a way, bad environment. And do we want, because I can see this distorted future of where something like AI, if we gave it the ability to, maybe it could be controlling our environment in a way, and it promotes whatever we are seeking. But is that something that we want, or do we as people value self-sovereignty? I mean, we elect leaders, and in a way, that's basically giving away our freedoms.
Well, let's never give away our freedoms. Not the little freedoms that we have, and certainly as a community, not the big freedoms. Well, we're going to wrap up today short. I mentioned that to you guys in the text. I have to bust a move. It's been interesting running back and forth between multiple events here in DC. It's been super compelling. Some of the things I've heard shared, and some of the conversations I've had in the hallways. There's certainly a lot of weight on leaders and leadership, especially leaders that are in the political sphere, either directly or indirectly. I do think it's going to make, I think one of the strongest ways that humanity can turn the tide in a positive direction towards DeFi, decentralized finance, crypto, the internet that we own, Web3, we call it, AI, is to have really great teams that are, in political positions, whether that's federally or the state of Florida, state of California, where we all live, or even locally, even like just having vision for different things being pushed in local cities like San Jose or Tampa or Capitola, etc. Anyway, before we wrap up, because I gotta run, final thoughts from you guys. Nigel, why don't you jump in and kick us off, and then I'll go to Teddy.
I think one of the fastest ways we can actually move the needle forward in terms of leadership is just to do more measurement. I mean, I found this in corporate, there's so much measurement with employees and people below the management, ranks, the decision-making management rank, but it doesn't seem to be as much other than the bottom line at a higher level, at least by and large. And that to me is where I feel like we have some opportunity, especially when you start getting back to like the 360 reviews. I think that a comprehensive look at how someone's performing as a leader has to include what the perception is of the people that they lead. Yeah. Because if you're only getting evaluated by your managers,
no, you're right.
That leaves very little measurement of how you're doing with your staff. And you think about something like the military. You see people who are under a particular commander or general or something like that. The reverence is there, the respect is there, and it's not just chain of command. I'm putting my life in your hands. I respect your leadership because my life is on the line. I haven't found that too many times beyond one level if you got on with a manager or somebody that you work with. Like when it gets higher up, it just becomes more removed, and there's not like that person doesn't affect me. That person doesn't have any input on how it is I don't know that's helpful to the consumer, in those types of situations, because if you're ineffective as a leader to your employees, the people who you manage, that's gonna actually end up presented to the consumer, and there's nothing they could do about it because there's a disconnect. So that's kind of where I see tightening that up a bit can help.
I mean, there's all these different kinds of leaders in every single person's life. You've got the ones that you don't choose, that are just put there for you, like a boss, or you could even say someone like a teacher, or maybe even you could say the president. You're not necessarily choosing them yourself, but then you also have these ones that are fully chosen by you, that maybe they earn your respect, or maybe they give something that is feeling like it earns your respect. Something like a teacher who's really, really good at teaching, or someone who is willing to sit down and listen to you. Those are both things they're giving to you to earn your respect. It's kind of like a reward. But then you also have these leaders that gain your respect through other ways. And I don't know, I keep having this thought in my head of, is AI going to gain our respect? Or are we too distant from it? Do we constantly think of it as different than us in a way that's too aggressive to where we could start to respect it?
Interesting thoughts. What do you think, Dan? Any final thoughts for your?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Bro, it's just so far outside my brain. Yeah.
All right, Teddy. How about you before we wrap?
Humans right now, I mean, AI is a tool for humans, and human leaders need to step up and strive for our better selves. I saw a post yesterday that Sam Alman, however you pronounce his last name, is going to allow ChatGPT for erotic content for adults, and that's like the stupidest decision ever. And I'd strongly encourage him not to do that and not go down that route. And I think, we as humans need to strive to be better leaders, and also hold our leaders accountable to higher standards, and figure out new models that are more transparent, that are, we all aspire to be a meritocracy. And I think the more and more we are able to bring transparency and reward the leaders according to their ability to inspire others, bring the community together, and then support them so that they keep doing that, rather than, go off the rails and start serving themselves.
It's a good word, Ted. I liked a few things that you said. Not everything. I'm not telling anybody what things I didn't like.
Just choose. Put a lot of words there. You remix them, and you can say whatever you want.
Wow.
Last thing I want to say is, it does feel like there's more accessibility to leaders today than before. I feel like Gary Vaynerchuk was one of the forerunners of this, because at his talks starting 10 years ago, he'd spend like half of his talks taking questions. Then you see Charlie Kirk take that mantle and do these massive events where he's taking questions live, spontaneously, even having the willingness to set his microphone down and really listen to people. And now you see it happening more and more and more. Obviously, through Charlie's organization, you see Russell Brand and Megyn Kelly and JD Vance just yesterday. These people are jumping on the stage. They're giving a little 5 to 20 minute keynote, and then they're taking questions for 2 hours. That's called accessibility. What that means is that if you show up and you jump in line and you wait your turn, you can ask any question you want live in front of the world, and that question will be answered. At least that's the hope.
Did anyone ask a question like, what can you do better?
Yeah, there's questions like that. But the other thing is not just open dialogue. It's also the accessibility of like our federal government news, like the fact that Trump shows his cabinet meetings. People may not like what's in it. They may not believe it. They might think it's even a performance. Doesn't matter. It's still accessibility. And even locally, like Nigel and Dan and I, we've talked a bit about the St. Petersburg local city council meetings, the Capitola city council meetings. Of course, this happens in San Jose where everything's live streamed, everything's made available. Like there's a certain amount of accessibility, and pretty soon this stuff's going to be on distributed ledgers, and pretty soon AI is going to make it really easy to find what we're looking for. And I do believe that because of accessibility, we're going to have leaders making better decisions that are better for people. At least that's my hope. Well, I got 2 minutes to get out of here. So that means it's the end of the Beachside Tech Talk 94 for today. I'll be back again tomorrow for episode 95, where the topic will be our attention or media. 95 next week, next Friday's number 100. Almost to the triple digits, my friends. Almost to the triple digits. Okay. Kate, love you. See you guys soon.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Happy Thursday.